There we go. How y'all doing? Welcome back to my rainforest. I'm Big Fella. You are watching Talking with Big Fella. And like I said, we're doing a special series because we're at a crucial point in Nashville right now. Kind of like the future is upon us. And things are going to look different over these 20s. And we got to figure out who's going to represent us moving forward. So we wanted to talk to everybody, and right now we got a dude. I done known this dude. I think I met you. It might have been 15
years ago.
Easy.
Maybe almost 20 years.
Almost
20 years.
Almost. And when I seen, and you were the first person, I ain't even introduce him. The first person that I heard that was like running for mayor of this city, kind of by far almost, is with us today. You sitting on your couch or watching at the gym, clap it up for my man, Mr. Matt Wiltshire. Yeah. How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Man,
good to see you
Thank
again.
you so much for coming through, man.
Thanks for having me to your rainforest.
Oh, man.
It's beautiful over here.
It is beautiful
Thank
over
you.
here, man. It is beautiful. So, we are lucky to have you here. Is it true you were the first one to announce?
No, it was one other candidate got in a little bit before me. I'll say he's a friend of mine. Freddie O'Connell got in a little bit before me.
Really? Okay.
He got in like May of last year, and then I launched my campaign in July 13th.
Oh, okay. So it's all around the same.
Yeah, but it's been a while. There were three of us who were in the race. Sharon Hurt got in December. And the three of us were in the race before Mayor Cooper announced that he was not running for re-election.
Right.
So the three of us were in. It was sort of set up as there was an incumbent and these three challengers, and then he announced that he was not running for re-election.
And he got wild.
And then like 874 of my closest friends jumped into the race. People I've been knowing for forever, like, oh yeah, I want to do that too.
Nuts.
And we've been here for a while.
Oh man, crazy.
Hop in, the water's warm. It's all good. It's all good.
So starting out, you are from here. You got brothers and sisters. What you got? Tell me about how you grew up.
My story.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit.
I grew up a couple of miles from here, actually. So born and raised in Nashville, and went to Aiken for elementary school, and then Meigs for middle school, and went to Hume Fogg for high school. My parents, none of us should be defined by our parents. My kids should not be defined by their parents, but I'm really proud of my parents, and they instilled in me a lot of things that are sort of motivating me to run for mayor. So I'll talk about them for just a second. My mom, Susan, was a professor at Fisk and then at Vanderbilt, where she helped start the Women's Studies program. And I actually met somebody at a fundraiser last night who said, like, my mom changed her life. And that's just
so
like
real.
Fun things like that that come up. Yeah. And my dad, Ashley, was the executive director of the Legal Aid Society, which is like public defender, but for civil cases instead of criminal cases. So that's what my mom and dad did. And they actually also helped start the very first neighborhood association in Nashville. So being involved in neighborhoods, taking care of neighborhoods, that's how I grew up. And then I do have one sister, Carrie. Shout out Carrie and Ryan and Jackson and Vince, her two boys. And Carrie's an attorney. So everyone thinks she's the older sister. She looks fantastic, but she acts more like an older sibling. I act more like a younger sibling, but I am actually the older sibling by 2.5 years.
Oh, okay, but y'all close though.
Close.
Y'all was in schools at the same time and all of that. Okay.
Yep. Same generation.
All right, so I'm pretty sure your story is one of the ones I kind of heard the most, like economic development. How did you get to? Yeah, real quick. Like, how did you get to being like, you know what? I'm gonna run for mayor.
Yeah. I'll give you the short version.
Yeah.
It's a step, but there's a bunch of steps that led up to it. So after college, I went away for college. After college, I worked in finance for 15 years. A couple years in San Francisco, 6 or 7 years in New York, and then I moved back to Nashville and worked here for 6 or 7 years. And during that time, I got more involved in the community. Gen 10, where we met originally. Yeah. I was also the chair of the board of Hands on Nashville, actually during the May 2010 floods. And seeing that experience, neighbors helping neighbors, folks helping people they'd never met before, that kind of inspired me. So this was May of 2010. About a year later, in May of 2011, I joined Carl Dean, as the director of economic and community development. And I actually ended up doing that for 8 years with 3 different mayors. So I served with Carl Dean, Megan Barry, and then David Briley. And during that time,
you're doing the same thing?
Same job.
Oh, okay.
New mayor comes in.
So you made it through.
I mean, I thought I was going to go back to the private sector, but a new mayor came in, asked me to stay. I did. So during that time, we brought the unemployment rate here down from over 8% to 2.0%. It was literally the lowest of any city anywhere in the country, and 42,000 jobs for Nashvillians. So did that. But then in 2019, I looked around the city, thought there are other challenges that need to be tackled. So I worked with then Mayor Briley to launch a very ambitious affordable housing plan. Yeah. And I moved over to MDHA, the city's public housing authority. So I worked at MDHA for 3 years. We helped build over 4,000 units of affordable housing in just 3 years. And then I launched my campaign last July. So that's how we got here.
That's pretty
big
cool.
Challenges. I see challenges. I want to tackle them. And I saw that our city was facing some big challenges.
Like I told you, first time I seen you after I knew you were running, you got the look, man. Even when I saw you, you was standing there. You look you got the almost like a superhero look. You know what I'm saying? With the big
Stop
box
it some
head.
more. Stop it some more. Stop it some more. Come on.
Yeah, you got the look. Part of it is a look. You know what I'm saying? It's like being smart, knowing, then you gotta have the look and the feel, you know. You got the look, man.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, and it's cool. So with the MDHA, everybody, that's one of the things I keep hearing is affordable housing. Affordable housing. We gotta have affordable housing, which we do. Personally, I'm like, is it possible?
Yeah.
Is it really possible in a big boom town? You know, we got boom town politics going on. It's a whole different world. There's big money coming from all over. Is it possible to keep? Do you think it's possible to keep Nashville, to have a big event town and still have Nashville for regular Nashvillians?
I mean, you're asking the real questions.
Yeah.
This is real talk. You're asking real questions.
But is it though? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes money.
So it is, right? And so let's take it back to college, right?
Yeah.
Or just economics 101. The price of anything is where supply meets demand,
all day
right?
long.
That's supply and demand. If you've got a huge supply and no demand, those prices are going to plummet,
all day long.
Right? Prices of housing in Detroit right now, maybe not right now. Detroit's actually having a little bit of a renaissance, but a few years ago, no one wanted to live there. A lot of supply of housing, no demand for it. Prices plummeted. They didn't need affordable housing there.
Right.
In Nashville, the exact opposite happened. A lot of people moving here, a lot of people moving in, and not enough supply created. And so the price of housing went through the roof. And that's one of the things. So, yes, I think it is possible. It's hard. It is not easy.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about it, but actually doing it is the key. And that's why when I talk about we were able to build 4,000 units of housing that's going to remain affordable in just 3 years, that's the kind of work we got to put in. And we did it at MDHA, but we also did it through public-private partnerships, getting the private sector the incentives to be able to do that. And so it takes a lot of work. And there's no one silver bullet, but we got to be adding more housing because it's really, right, just to wrap this up, so it's supply and demand, right?
Right.
And so we could bring the cost of housing down, but we do that by making Nashville a crappy place to live.
Right.
Well, nobody wants that,
no.
Right? Then there'll be no demand for housing.
All day
but
long.
I don't think we want that. We want Nashville to continue to be a great place to live, so we got to bring the supply up. That's the key.
Well, that's real. I actually believe you. But since you worked, that's what you've been doing in affordable housing. Yeah, that's the first time I'm actually like, okay, maybe it is possible then. Because to me, I'm like, it's enough big money coming in. It's just
washing over us like a tidal wave.
I was telling somebody, like, gentrification, maybe it is in some instances, but in Nashville, I don't necessarily think it's just this clandestine, evil plan to take the black neighborhoods all the way. Maybe it's something in there, but it's just a numbers game.
You're exactly right.
People coming from California who sold their little bungalow for $2 million and could come here and they want to be close to work. They're going to go, where's the best real estate? 10 of us moved to North Nashville, and it happens like that. It's not just like, well, let's get the black people out. They don't care if you're black or white. If the houses is a good price and close to where they work, that's where they want to be at.
Yeah, and a lot of that happened. I mean, let's just be real. I mean, a lot of that has happened. And And like those changes are really hard changes for communities. We got to be more intentional about it.
How can you stop that? Like, how can you even stop that?
Yeah, I mean, in a state like Tennessee that has real high property rights and property protections, the state's not going to allow you to like not allow somebody to sell their home, right?
Right.
And if you're a homeowner, you get to benefit from that at least a little bit, right? Your house that you bought for $70,000 is now worth $200,000 or $300,000. Where it's really hard is people who are renters, because they aren't even benefiting from the increase in value of the home. They're just rent is going through the roof.
Yeah.
But even if you are one of those lucky people who owns a home in an area where there's increasing demand, where are you going to move to?
You can't.
Where are you going to move to? So
Springfield.
Right? Clarksville, Laverne.
Jolton,
I mean, folks are having to move further and further and further out.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I think it is about increasing supply just to keep moderating that imbalance between supply and demand.
Is that just like destined to happen, but due to the fact that more people are coming? Are those places like us, Springfield, Clarksville, Laverne? I mean, all the areas around the city got to kind of grow, too. Is that just kind of what it is? The big money will be in Nashville and the middle money will be on the outskirts, like over 10 years. Is that just destined to happen, or can you do something?
Yeah, I don't think it's destined to happen. I think there are things that we can do to try and control the growth in some ways that protect folks a little bit from the changes washing over us. But what I think is the most important thing to focus on is making sure that Nashvillians, the people who actually built this city, that they're the ones who are in the best position to take advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
So if the price of housing is going to go up because there's demand to be here, if there are jobs that are coming here, we need to help folks make sure that they are the ones to take advantage of the great jobs that are coming here.
Yes.
So that at least they're participating in the success of the city.
Yes.
And when unemployment is at over 8%, like it was when I started in the mayor's office, you are focused on bringing jobs for people. But when unemployment's at 2 or 3 or 4 or 5%, that's not as urgent a need. What you need to be focused on is making sure, and you got to do this all the time anyway, that the people who are here are having the best opportunities.
Yeah.
You're going to do your thing.
Jobs.
She's going to do her thing. I'm going to do my thing. I'm not telling anyone to do any particular job.
Yeah.
But if you want a particular job, and that's sort of what is so great about this space, right? People who want to be in the entertainment industry, who want to be in film or TV, there's an opportunity here to do that so that you can participate in the success of the city. You can learn. I mean, not everyone's going to be as good as you, but you could learn to host a TV show, take one of the classes here, learn what it takes to be a camera operator, learn what it takes to do the lighting, learn what it takes to script out a show.
But to have an opportunity to
you need to have the opportunity.
Yeah.
So
okay, appreciate that. So you were talking about you mentioned Detroit, and interestingly, I was up there. I went back. It was probably about 2013, 14, kind of be part of this revitalization thing. And Detroit Future Cities had put together this 50-year framework. It's like literally the most beautiful civic document I've ever seen. It was like, wow. And in it, because Detroit is historically black city, at least the last 40 years, all the stakeholders is involved. You got like the businesses, the metropolitan people, the organization, all of them. In that book, there was neighborhoods carved out that's like, okay, I guess because it's a historically black city, you can't have a Detroit without some thriving African-American communities in it, and like business districts and all of that. And everybody supported that. I should tell people, like, look, just look at the plan, figure out where you fit in the plan, kind of like the Bible. You fit in the plan, everybody's going to support it because they all makes each other relevant. In Nashville, and I come back here, I'm like, I ask this question, people get weird, but like, does Nashville have to have black people, a thriving black community? Does it have to? Or if it doesn't have to, or if it does have to, don't you have to put that somewhere, or else the money will come and buy out the potential of a thriving African-American community?
Yeah.
And is that a real thought?
Dude, you are asking some deep questions.
I always wonder this.
I really appreciate it.
I wonder this.
I want to listen rather than talk. But hearing your question, there is one thing that I'm pretty excited about. Okay. I'm not sure I'm the right guy to do it, to be perfectly honest. I think these things have to come out of the community, bubble up out of the community, whatever the community is.
Yeah.
But let me answer your question this way. So there are black people all over our city, right?
Right.
And communities are segregated. I mean, not intentionally,
no,
but
just
like
the way it is.
The way it is.
The way it is.
That
is
facts.
Yeah.
But Nashville is one of the few places that has 3 beautiful, diverse HBCUs within 1 mile of each other.
Yeah.
There's also American Baptist College. I don't want to leave them out, but like think about the academic mile from Fisk to Meharry to TSU.
Ridiculous.
Liberal arts school, medical school, and then a big state school. So one of the things that has made cities successful all over the country, all kinds of cities, are the universities. UT, University of Texas in Austin, Research Triangle in North Carolina.
Yep.
And the HBCUs in Atlanta, I think, have been a big source.
That's how it happened, the schools.
Yes.
People come and stay.
So we have that.
We do.
But we've neglected it.
Man.
The city, the state turned away from it instead of turning into it. Now, again, this is not, if elected mayor, this is something I would want to help and enable the community to do, to support.
You can support
if this is what Dr. Glover wants to do at TSU,
right.
Dr. Hildreth at Meharry, and the new leader at Fisk.
Yeah.
I think they're in a search right now. But the opportunity to invest there, and I guess tying back to the affordable housing, so MDHA has Andrew Jackson, which is right next door to Fisk.
Yeah.
Fisk is bursting at the seams. They've got way more students than they can have housing for. And so if we were able to transform Andrew Jackson into a thriving mixed income, mixed use neighborhood that also potentially had some student housing that could help alleviate that pressure on Fisk, not that you're housing Fisk students in the projects. It's not about that, right?
I know,
this is different.
Yeah,
this is a transformation to tie into the social justice mission that has been a part of Fisk's legacy for many, many years, right? Then we're investing in this, and there's incredible art. There should be an art museum on Fisk campus.
They got the best art. I just did this big art event, this Tennessee Triennial. It's like statewide art festival, and there's people from all over the world come. What I didn't realize, a lot of the artists, when they get here, you know what I'm saying? I got love for the Fisk, but people are not that excited. When they talk about art, they're like the Fisk art galleries.
The Stiglitz. But there should be a big collecting art museum. The Fisk does like temporary shows primarily.
Right. Fisk has the collection.
So there should be a world-class collecting art museum on Fisk's campus that shows off the great art that they have, but also bring in art from other parts of the community.
All the way.
But the main part I'm talking about on this is there are opportunities at TSU. They've got land north of Walter S. Davis that's west of Ed Temple Boulevard, like 100 acres. There could be research done there, federally funded research that leverages the great academic work happening at TSU. And then guess what? You know who's going to want to be there? Companies. Companies are going to want to build campuses there so that they can have a great talent workforce pipeline coming right out of a world-class HBCU. So now, is that a place for black people? I don't want to define it that way.
I feel that.
But I do think that having HBCUs as anchor institutions that we shine a spotlight on will help attract both capital, intellectual capital, human capital, and dollar capital to come and support the community here in Nashville. Yeah. And I would love to see that happen.
That's real. I often wonder. I'm like, I look at Jefferson Street, that mile, and I'm just like, this makes no sense. I'm like, it gotta be like, I ask everybody, is this some white dude in the sky that's just like, you bet not touch Jefferson, leave it that way? You know what I'm saying? What is going on? It's really weird to me.
It could be different.
Well, that's cool. That's
cool. If the community wants to do it,
you win this, we're going to make something happen.
If the community wants to do it, I would love to be a part of that. This is not my idea.
I already know.
This is not my thing.
I feel you.
But I think it could be an amazing win for our city, the whole city.
Yeah.
Because there's been a lot of growth here, you know this, but a lot of people feel like it's happened to them,
it's
not for them.
It's not for them at all.
So we can address some of that.
Yeah.
Or try.
Yeah.
But That's not my thing to do.
Man, you know what, though? Sitting here looking you in the eye, I actually believe that you, for real, I believe it.
These things can happen, and they should happen.
I believe it. It's crazy. I usually,
intellectual capital.
Politicians, I'm kind of,
I know. It's like a bad word.
But, and you kind of stuck. I mean, it is the system that you got to go into and try to fix all the stuff, so I do understand, but I felt that looking in your eyes, man. That's cool. Okay, another question, real quick. Which one we gonna go to? Let's talk about, since we got about 8 minutes left, and we're here at NECAT, we're gonna talk about this creative thing in Music City. And, I think that the Music City and that vibe, when you got people going to a destination with their hopes and their dreams to make it somewhere. LA got it, New York got it. It's like people all over the world like, I'm going there and I'm gonna make it. That brings an interesting spirit to a place. And I believe that mixed with Nashville's song publishing, music history, mixed with that, is damn near the foundation of why all these people, when they come here, they feel it and they want to stay here. Granted, it's a big event town, and we definitely let it be known that we're going to do it as big as anybody, which is a great thing because it adds to the mystique of it. But I also see that it's hard to be a starving artist in a place like this. Like in Detroit, you can go up there and make, even though, like you say, it's going up now, but you can still go make it. Here,
you can afford it.
You can afford it. So here, we got some of the most amazing creative people. They might not work here all the time. They work in LA, they work in Atlanta, they work in New Orleans doing film, music, but they live here, and they would love to do what they do here too, but it's just not really as supported as some of these other things, And the question is, how important do you think it is to nurture and try to keep some of those people here? I know there's a lot of people especially after the shooting and the people at the State House, they're like, man, I might need to get out of here.
Get out of
here.
This
is weird,
Yep.
But I don't think so. I think this is a magical place.
Yeah.
How important do you think it is? And is it possible? I know it's a lot of stuff behind artist housing and it's the thought process, but what do you think? If you got 4, 8 years in here to do it, can we really do that? Can we really make it a place for artists to feel comfortable, to be able to live and affordable? Or is it just the money gonna just eat us up?
So 8 years. Let's say 8 years.
Okay.
Your lips to God's ears.
Okay,
8 years. I'll say it this way. Musicians and creative types are our beaches, right? Nashville doesn't have beaches, doesn't have mountains, musicians are our beaches.
That's so real.
In Florida, if their beaches are being eroded, they will do whatever it takes to protect their beaches because that's what makes that little, slice of our country. We have beaches, and that is our musicians, and we are neglecting the erosion that's undercutting our beaches. So yes, it is vitally important. And there are things that we can do about it. I mean, you're right. I am not going to say, oh, yeah, just elect me mayor and it's all done and super easy.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. But I think if you are intentional about it, we can make a real difference and make it the kind of place. Look, you all are doing that literally every day.
Yeah.
NECAT today is offering a place for people who are creative to want to come and explore how they can express themselves creatively. And that is vital for our community, for the thing that makes Nashville special. That's the thing. And so we have to figure out how we can nurture opportunities like this for folks who aren't millionaires already moving from California or New York. And by the way, we love you millionaires from New York and California. We're not bashing on people.
No.
But it is also vitally important that Nashville continues to be a place that you can move with nothing more than a dream. And if it is, then it'll continue to be special.
Yeah.
And if it isn't, it'll just be another city.
We'll get them Oracle robot dudes walking around Germantown. It's like, come on, man, we got to have some crazy people.
Yes.
You got to have the crazy people. Yeah. All right, man, I appreciate it.
Keeps it interesting. Keeps it interesting.
Okay. Let's see. Transportation. I know there's a lot of stuff people talking about. We almost, we getting close to the end, but do you think how the city didn't go for the light rail thing back when it was happening and all of that, You think we missed that boat? And a lot of the time, what I see with my eyes is the people who were like, no, we don't need that. Now they understand why we needed it, but you can't see the future in the moment. And by the time you know you need it, it's kind of too late. Like, do you think that we missed the light rail boat? Like, that was our chance, and now let's just beef up the buses or something?
No, we still have a chance. I mean, Nashville's a weird place. People live in Bellevue, work downtown. Live downtown, work in Brentwood. Live in Brentwood, work in Hendersonville. Live in Hendersonville, work at Vanderbilt. Live at Vanderbilt, work in Old Hickory. So, like, a large fixed infrastructure mass transit system is tough for a city like ours that doesn't have a hub and spoke. But I think there are certain investments that we can make that will have a huge return. And the first example I'll give you, I don't know if you've ever been to Denver, but out in Denver, the airport's like, I don't know, somewhere in Kansas somewhere. Yeah. But they've got light rail from their airport to downtown. And the advantage we have in Nashville is that our airport is only located 7 miles from downtown. And so we should have mass transit from the airport down Donaldson Pike to Murfreesboro Pike, turn right down Murfreesboro Pike and come down to downtown. And we can do that. You were talking about let's move Nashville in 2018, but going all the way back to 2012, 13, the AMP didn't work, or it got stopped because people said there's not enough right-of-way available on West End. Well, Murfreesboro Pike has wide right-of-way available, and the 55 Murfreesboro is already the highest ridership bus line that we have.
Is it?
So the federal government should step up to pay 60% of the cost of what I'm talking about. And the airport authority, because it can pay for all the infrastructure from the airport to the first transit stop, they can help pay a piece of it. So we can do this, and it's not just for tourists coming to visit Nashville, going downtown. We can put affordable housing, tying it back, affordable housing at transit stops along the transit corridor so that folks who work downtown can actually get to work without paying $50 a night for parking.
Man.
Or if you work at the airport, you can get to work without paying $40 for parking. So it's a thing, that's an investment we can make, we should make, and I will start working on my very first day in office. We can make that happen.
Yeah.
And then we got to build out from there. That's like one thigh bone of a skeleton, but it's the first piece that will make sense.
Yeah. Man.
Let's go.
No, let's go, man. Look, we got about a minute and a half left. I really appreciate you coming here just talking about it, man, having just real conversation about it. I see y'all on the debates and having to wait. That's got to be super weird. You got 90 seconds to answer some real shit.
Crime, 1 minute. What do you think? Like, fix it. Right? That's what I love about this conversation, right? And I'm sure you've heard this from your other guests. Like, I mean, you were getting into some pretty deep stuff.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that about this conversation. Thank you for doing this.
Man, I appreciate you, man. Yeah. All right, y'all. So, this is Matt Wiltshire. The choice is yours. August the 3rd. You gonna decide who's gonna help us lead this city, and we're doing this so that you're more informed and you can meet the people. So you don't have to just hear the sound bites or see the news clips. You can actually get to you can kind of look him in the eye if you look at the camera closer. Get up close to the TV and look him in the eye, and you can see what he really talking about. You've been talking with Big Fella. And we'll see y'all next time, Matt. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
I really appreciate you, man.
Good to see you.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Thanks for doing this.